All right, and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast. This is episode 10, guys. Double digits.
Episode 10.
The time when I said we better get this thing together and sound somewhat professional.
It's totally together, and we are completely professional.
Oh, good.
This trains are rolling.
Yeah, so that's one of those, like, this ship is not sinking while it's sinking down.
That's right. The most professional podcast you'll ever listen to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We are all
us.
getting rich on this right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
So much money we are making. We're just not doing it very well, or we're just being really charitable. So we are a bi-weekly independent podcast where three guys in a basement talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. I almost cussed on accident. That's why I like laugh. And what's funny, okay, apologies already if you were listening to this car. Evidently, I slipped a cuss word in the last episode. And not only did I not realize it when I said it, Adam didn't realize it when he edited. And I just didn't.
It was a part that was supposed to be edited out.
Oh, really?
And the sad thing is, I actually listened to the entire episode twice before I edited, and then edited again. So I listened to that episode 4 or 5 times, and I think I must have been watching HBO or something at the time and just didn't.
Well,
didn't hear it.
We had a listener email in that and he was like fine with it. He was like, "Hey, you guys got in a cuss word because you were so passionate about this one game," which was me, and I let it slip. So we're sorry. We are a clean podcast.
Yeah.
We do that not because obviously we're not clean. We're not priests, but we do cuss on occasion. We try not to do it because you might be listening with your kiddos in the car.
Yeah.
So. Full apologies. Sorry, we let it go.
Ben had to do 10 push-ups for it.
It's been fixed. I already got it.
Yep.
Yeah. I put money in the jar.
Money in the jar.
It's
Swear
done.
jar.
Yeah. So anyway, apologies for that. That's just funny. I think it's more funny than anything.
Yeah.
So we're going to definitely have to mark episode 9 explicit completely. Oh man. All right, guys. Well, our email is Adam.
VideoGameDads@yahoo.com.
And our Facebook is facebook.com/videogamedads.
And our Twitter is @VideoGameDads. Our Twitter, we've over 100 followers. We're getting that train rolling. We feel really privileged that just 10 episodes in, we're getting nice feedback and love our listener responses. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys listening and giving us any feedback, positive or negative. I kind of skipped who the heck we are. 3 hosts. I am Benjamin.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Adam.
Yep. And the first thing we will do is talk about our Video Game Book Club.
All right, so here's where we talk about the Video Game Book Club and our video game pick. And for those that are new to the show or don't know, Video Game Book Club is essentially where we alternate shows with the audience. We pick a game one week, and then the next show, the audience gets to pick a game, and we switch between systems. We all play that game together, and then we talk about it for the next podcast.
Yeah.
So on the last episode, we had a listener pick, and that was San Francisco Rush.
Yep.
For the Nintendo 64.
For the mighty N64.
N64.
Or Ultra 64 as it should be.
And that might be
that would be way
that might be
sweeter.
one of our more well-known games that has gotten picked so far. But I still think it's obscure enough. It was a good pick.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
And a lot of people recognize this game as an arcade game rather than an N64 game.
Yes.
Because it was a Midway arcade game. So it was released in 96 in the arcade, and it came out in 97 on the N64.
Okay.
And it was developed by Atari. And
Really?
at this point, Atari has this real funny history where it was sort of the company that it was, and then sort of got it bought out. And I don't know if it's originally the real Atari, quote unquote, that made the old, the old 2600, but published by Midway. So you'll see the cabinets with the Midway logo on it, and the the box art for the N64 has that Midway logo. Runs about $15, complete in box, and you can find a cart for $7-8.
Yeah, or less. It's pretty common.
Pretty common.
It's not obviously it's not a launch title or anything, but this was kind of the racing title.
Yeah,
for a while because you had Cruisin' USA. Nothing against Cruisin' USA. I like it. I've got some nostalgia for it. That was another arcade, but
also Midway.
Also
Yeah,
Midway.
also Midway,
But
yep.
Cruising USA was very shallow in its gameplay. It just had a few tracks. You
Yeah.
didn't have like alternate routes, any kind of pathfinding keys.
Yeah.
The tracks weren't as long, and you weren't doing jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
At least not real jumps. It would go, whoa, and it would
Yeah.
fall immediately. That,
It had the digitized characters, though.
Yeah,
the little
everything.
Flag
Yeah,
girls.
the flag girls. Yeah, they
and
did
all
have that
stuff,
though.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, even actually the cars were flat. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Cruising USA, like when they would go around and like do a 360 around the car, you would see it like clip, clip, clip.
Yep.
clip.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, okay.
It was like paint documents just flipping on the
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that San Francisco Rush, Extreme Racing.
Yeah.
Extreme.
Yeah,
Everything was
that's the
extreme.
full title.
Everything was extreme in the mid 90s.
Yeah. I'm just happy they put an E in front of the X.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Oh,
is when
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
an X.
Usually it's
That's
X
very
hyphen.
90s too.
Oh
Yeah.
man, do you guys remember the XFL? I don't want to get too off topic, but that was
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a
That was
train
Vince
wreck.
McMahon, right? The
yeah,
wrestling
it
guy.
sure
put that
was.
on. Yeah, yeah.
And that was the one where I do like, instead of a coin toss, they had a mad rush for football. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That part was.
I forgot about that.
It's
part was probably the
amazing
best
that
part.
that did not make it.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I think get your fastest guy out there and run for a ball is a little more manly than two guys flipping coins.
I wanted to try out for one of the teams, but I was only 17 at the time. I was
Really?
gonna try. Yeah, I was trying to find out how to.
You were all illegal tryouts.
Yeah,
and
I was
stuff.
gonna try
Yeah.
to.
Were
Yeah.
you going to be for the what is it, the Memphis Maniacs?
American Maniacs.
Yeah,
What
they
are
all
the
had
other
cool. They
ones?
all had cool team names.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
I have one of their like a shirt. It's a cutoff shirt now. I can't remember the team though. I think it was like the Las Vegas one though.
Las Vegas Outlaws. maybe.
Yeah, Outlaws. Yeah, I think it was Outlaws. But that-
Yeah, there was some LA Extreme.
LA
Wasn't that one of them?
right.
Shoot, there. Oh, the New Jersey Devils. The Chicago Enforcers, dude. I'm pulling this out of
Yeah.
nowhere. I don't know where
Yeah.
I'm pulling this out. My favorite was, I really liked the Memphis Maniacs because it was like bright green orange, and it just had a picture on the side of the head of basically a guy that was on meth.
Yeah.
nice.
So if you like, he just has a face that's crazy, and that is the logo of the XFL
Yeah,
player.
missing some teeth.
Missing some teeth.
Good net
Gosh,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
Smoke in the background.
And it didn't help. There's only like 8 teams anyway.
Yeah.
It lasted 2 years. First year was okay, and I remember the ratings are going up. They were saying, "Oh, we're so much better than the NFL," and then all of a sudden, poof. And you remember
Poof,
they
yeah.
had
Because
the
realistically, it was just the same thing with a few change of rules, pretty much.
yeah, and I mean they would mic up the players, and of course they made the more like the cheerleaders were more
Cheerleaders, yeah.
Risque.
adult.
Risque.
Yeah. Arena football's kind of that way too, though. I don't know if either one of you two has ever been to an arena football game,
Yeah.
but I used to go to some arena games, and yeah, the cheerleaders are definitely doing their craft probably after hours.
I see. So this is a
again,
second
as well.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
More power to you.
Yep.
It helps with the tax return too, because that money's a little more clear.
Well, remember the guy had his he hate me instead of having his name, he had a nickname on the back
yeah,
of the
you know
jersey.
who that
He
was?
hate me.
That was Rashawn Sheehy of
Yep,
the Kansas City
yeah.
Chiefs.
Yep, he
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
played in the league for a
I
while.
was in
Yep.
I was in Oklahoma City at the time, and the Oklahoma City arena team's name was the Yard Dogs.
The Yard Dogs.
DAWGZ.
Well, shoot, man. There's the Omaha Beef. Do you know that's a team?
The Omaha Beef.
Beef, yeah,
Oh.
because I remember that because
original.
they tried to get Tim Tebow when Tebow
Yeah.
like no one wanted him. They're like, we'll take him for a minimum contract.
There's actually a lot of like semi-pro football that if you really start to dig in, because I actually played on a semi-pro football team for a little bit over in Independence, Sugar Creek.
Sweet.
I played over there, but there's a ton of semi-pro football. You just have to really dig.
Yeah.
Though. It's not like minor league like baseball. It's pretty
Nice. And NFL
cutthroat.
Blitz, a
Yeah.
lot of like
Yeah.
late hits.
Yeah.
Hey, we're a video game dad podcast. If you Hey, this is one time we talk about sports. I kind of know what we're talking about. And of course, it's a defunct league
Yeah.
that is underappreciated, much like we talk about our things.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't know anything.
did they
about
make an XFL video
current
game?
stuff.
I don't think so.
I
no.
don't think so. No.
They did make too extreme. Back to our video game
Sorry,
book club
guys.
picks. Sorry.
Yeah. Segue.
So San Francisco Rush. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah, it's. I actually remember playing this game a lot back when it came out, and I
too.
really liked it back at the time. I remember thinking, "Wow, this is really cool," because it was polygonal and not sprite based or whatever.
Yeah.
And like you were saying on the tracks, there's sort of a set track, but then there's all these little alternate routes. So there's little alleyways and
Yeah,
little ways
that are
you
pretty
can-
hidden.
Yeah, cut between buildings, and also
Very hidden, yeah.
When you're driving around, it's in San Francisco, so of course there's a lot of hills,
Mm-hmm.
and you have these huge jumps where you're just in the air for a long period of time. And so all those things were pretty unique at the time,
Yep.
and actually made a big impression on me. And I sort of had nostalgic rose-colored glasses.
Oh, yeah.
On. I think because I went back and I was like, yeah, I really want to play this and everything. And then I started playing it. And I was like, this isn't as good as I remember it. But I think it's because I've been tainted by everything I've been playing since.
Yeah. I mean, now racing games, the ultra realism. This was this was pre-Gran Turismo.
Oh, yeah. This was way before Gran Turismo, yeah. Or, well,
no, it wasn't the same year.
PS1.
It was the same year.
Was it the same year?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yes, 97.
That's why I never played this when I was young. I played Cruis'n USA. So this is the first time I ever played this game, but so it was sort of rough on me because I was more of like into Gran Turismo. So then when I played this, I was sort of going in, I know it's going to be arcade feel, but it has arcade feel, but it just doesn't hold up like the arcade. I don't know. It's sort of a weird.
Yeah. So I mean, it is a racer. You've got the problem with the fog and not being able to see the track. But of course, like, hey, you've got the fog and you're in San Francisco. Yeah. That kind of helped, I guess.
Yeah.
The feel of it is hard. So we really have to dig deep to kind of understand what this game was in its time and place. Now, if you don't have much nostalgia for it, it would be hard to play this game. It's also not very forgiving. You run into a wall,
you blow up.
You blow up.
You blow up a lot.
Yeah, I blew up plenty.
And when I played this a lot with a buddy. Yeah, I played this a lot with a buddy of mine when I was younger. And what was neat about this game was actually when you turned on time trial and you didn't even race, you actually just discovered the track.
Yeah.
And that is what actually makes it. You could do a race and, it's basically you put on easy, it's a pretty easy win. You put on medium, it's a little harder. And the other one's like, it's break your controller.
Yeah.
And then it's just a normal racing game. But the way the tracks were laid out and like Adam was saying, the jumps, there was nothing like that at the time, really.
Yeah.
And they also had hidden keys. I think it was either 8 or 10 hidden keys in every level. And when I say hidden keys, these things were hidden.
Yes.
These things were hard to find. And some of them were like you need a specific car to be going really fast. What was neat was you could get these keys during the time trial.
Yeah.
So what its own game was actually not to do it as a racing game, but almost do it as like kind of a.
It was like more of an adventure game.
Yeah, an adventure.
Yeah.
Boy, we're spinning this thing.
Yeah,
we're trying to turn this piece of coal.
Well, it's like Beetle Adventure Racing. Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that this is kind of but it's sort of a similar situation. And for those that don't know, Beetle Adventure Racing is actually really good.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it was good.
Game.
Yeah.
And it's built on this exact same premise. You race. There's a bunch of hidden tracks, hidden routes. Ways to get ahead faster.
But it's got interesting kind of things that go with the interaction with the
so
like power ups and all that kind of thing. So
Beetle Adventure Racing, I think, is just an overall very better game. But it also had another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, true.
It was a late, fairly late in 64.
And originally, Beetle Adventure Racing was I don't remember the full story, but really they were just trying to get a contract with somebody to help pay for development. So it wasn't meant to be. They were going to put any car in there, but the new Beetle was still a hot thing, and probably everybody the VW wanted more people to buy this car. So they're like, we'll put it in a video game.
Win-win.
You could only play as a Beetle. No one played this thing until probably about 5-10 years ago. It started getting some
I actually
chatter.
played it back in the day.
Oh, did you?
I never played it back in the day.
First
I played
guy I
it
know
recently, and I was like, not bad.
So honestly, if you have one to pick, and it's if you ever find Beetle Adventure Racing, that is one I can almost guarantee you're going to have a great time with.
Yeah.
This game, you really kind of got to look at it like us, like some weird old group of scholars, and really kind of, you know what I mean? It's like this is when you pick like a book like Scarlet Letter or something. I hate reading, by the way, but when you start to like dig deep and read in between the words and the lines, that's more this thing. This book is like trying to appreciate it for what it is. But really, I mean, most people are going to pop this thing in and be like, this is kind of bites. It's the graphics are lame.
One of the biggest issues I had with it was the cars. Like the cars were so generic to me. It was like sort of like when you go to the dollar store when you're a kid and you get those cheap cars and you just like push down on the wheels flex out. Why are all the wheels flexed out on these things? I don't understand that.
You can pick the wheel size. So
can you pick
maybe
wheel
it was
size?
Default on some. What I like about it is...
Why are they all sticking out? That's really weird.
It's probably like they probably needed them to be out because otherwise they would clip inside the car. It was probably like a graphical limitation. Okay. I never noticed it. But now that you're talking about it, you're right. They come out a little bit.
Yeah, it reminds me like when I went to the dollar store as a kid and you'd push down on the car and the cars would flex out and they're like ruined. It's
Man. You ruined all the dollar store cars.
Yeah, dollar cars. Yeah, we didn't get Matchbox cars. We got dollar cars.
That's funny. Yeah, so anyway...
They had cheat codes. This game, what was cool though, they had a lot
Midway.
of
If the
Midway
game
is really
says
good about
Midway
that.
on it, it's
cheat
got
codes.
a ton of cheats.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing about Midway games. As a matter of fact, is all the cool cheats.
Yeah. This one had anti-gravity. You told me to use that one.
Yeah,
I couldn't get the code typed in, so
you got to do it fast.
Really?
That's one you got to do.
Yeah,
fast
all the Midway games, especially like NBA Jam and stuff, they give you like that fast to get your code in.
Okay.
Yeah, but and I think actually you ended up getting a code select screen, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, see, I did the code select screen for
cheats, so.
There was a explosive cones or something like that. I did that one. Which was really weird, is all you do is you hit them and you blow up. I'm like, there's really no way around it, so you're just going to blow up.
Yeah, but the low gravity was really fun because I think I said this before when it got picked. Like, you can hit...
Explosive cone sounds like one of the villains in The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Did that get a video game, Running Man?
I don't know if it did or not.
So. It was too violent. It was way too violent.
Explosive cones.
They did do violent video games back then. But yeah, the low gravity is really cool because when you fly and you hit a jump really hard, boy, you're in the air probably about 20 seconds doing flips and stuff. And if you land on your roof, you're done. Yeah. If you land on your wheels, no matter how far you fall, you're good. Some of the secrets too were really well hidden, like in buildings. You would crash through a building thinking you're about to blow up, and boom, you've got this like long secret alleyway.
Yeah.
And what was neat was it wasn't like a lot of tracks now in racing games where the secret will buy you about 2 seconds, and it's basically around there's normally a curve, and you get to basically shoot through the curve.
Yeah,
that's most of the time a secret. This thing, it's like it takes you kind of underground. You don't even know where the track is, and then when it spits you out, you better be ready because most of the time you're in the air, and then you can go through the secret and then land on your top, and then you're done. Yeah. Or if you die in the secret area, it'll put you back on the track. Yeah. So that is a game where I really think the best way to play it is just play it on time trial mode and just have fun.
Explore.
Yeah, explore.
That's right. You could even do it old school. Take a picture of your TV screen, send it into the magazine with your best time.
Oh, really?
No, I mean, don't you remember how Nintendo Power used to do it?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. Did they have a contest like that with that or something?
Yeah, you'd have to. Of course, now it'd just be all doctored photos. Yeah, you finish the track in 3 seconds. Awesome.
Yeah. Kids these days.
Kids these days. A bunch of cheaters.
Yeah. But a good listener pick.
No, good pick.
Music was kind of generic. Like I said, the controls kind of weird. Anything else you want to talk about this little video game book club pick? It was a game that they made a lot of copies, so it's kind of weird to say that this is a kind of an under the radar gem, but it's kind of challenging to. This is a good.
And I think Rush 2, because it actually has a sequel on N64 as well, and I think Rush 2 is actually a little bit more polished than what Rush 1 is.
It is, and even a third, which is 2049,
which is amazing on Dreamcast.
Yes,
that was so good.
If you're going to play any of the Rush games, Rush 2049 on the Dreamcast is great because of all the they gave wings to the cars. So you could kind of control them.
Where you like roll the car and stuff. Oh my god!
But they'd have cool physics to it, and then they'd have like a battle mode. Yep. Yeah, Rush 2049 for either the 64 or the Dreamcast
that came out for 64 also
as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow,
it did.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's
probably
a good
foggy
game.
though, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Dreamcast, baby.
Yeah. So our listeners don't have to stick with a system like we do. We've already gone through the NES, one round of the NES. Obviously, we're going to come back and we're going to try to hit obscure things here and there, maybe not for a full cycle. Went through the NES, went through the Genesis, got to give some Sega love.
Yep.
And kind of now, obviously there's other things that came out like the Game Gear and the Turbo Graphics and things, but I think we're going to move on to something pretty popular that might get some people's memories going, and that'll be the Super Nintendo.
Super
Nintendo is next for us, but again, you can make your picks anything. Obviously, this was 64. We've had a Game Boy game that's still yet to get picked, and we put it in the pool, randomly pick it, and alternate. But this time, it is time for a Video Game Dad's pick, and it's Adam's turn.
It is my turn.
We are up to arguably one of the most popular video game systems of all time, the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and this pick's actually really tough because when it was my pick, and so I was looking through my shelf, and the problem is like all the games I really, really like on Super Nintendo are also
popular,
really
very
common and popular, and almost everybody's already played them. So I would pick Donkey Kong Country 2 or Donkey Kong Country 1 or Super Mario World or
even
whatever.
like Pilot Wings, I thought was good, but
but I mean, still everybody played F-Zero. Everybody played.
I love it.
Super
so
Metroid, and then there are other games that are more rare, but they're also super expensive. Things like Demon's Crest, which goes for like $300. I didn't want to pick something like that either. So looking at the shelf, it's still moderately expensive, but gettable. Is Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and I never. We're kind of supposed to pick things that we have a history with, and we want other people to experience. But I'm going to pick this because I've never played it, and I got it just a couple of months ago because Shane pointed me to a garage sale that had it.
Oh, cool.
So this will give me a good excuse to actually sit down
and play it
and really play it.
Nice.
So everybody says it's great. I guess we'll find out. But Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yes,
I'm excited about this.
Very good game.
I remember seeing the art on Blockbuster. But I, like when I was a kid, and I always was intrigued by it. But I was kind of I don't know, like horror games and stuff scared me. So I was like, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That's not really my genre.
Yeah.
So I haven't played it either. So I'm excited to play this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Konami game, and all the other Konami games that came out around this time. I don't know how I never played this, but they all have really good music. They're all really good games.
You guys are really going to dig this one. Really good music, really good. I like the graphics, and just the way that they do it is old, like B-rated, like monster movies and stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of a campy kind of game.
Yeah,
I think,
very cool, man.
Cool. And what style or genre is this game?
Top down.
Yeah, it's like
shooter.
It's sort of the perspective is kind of like a
Gauntlet,
kind of like
Gauntlet
exactly. Or Zelda, sort of overhead sort of view. Yeah, but
okay,
I guess it's kind of a
not isometric, but
more top down.
Call that? Yeah, more top
down. They call
down.
it the vertical. We're just making stuff up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would say Gauntlet style is very accurate, actually.
Yeah, I mean that's what the little bit I've seen of it sort of looks like that. But like I said, I'm really kind of going into this one blind, so I just want to see if it's any good. I want to see if it's as good as people say that it is.
Yeah, awesome. I'm excited to play it. So our Video Game Book Club pick by Adam, one of our dads, is going to be Zombie Ate My Neighbors. Zombies, sorry, plural.
I think it is Zombies. Yes,
yep, Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Because then it would just be one, so that'd be silly.
And it would be a very
There's a lot of zombies. That would be a terrible video game. One zombie done. Yep. I win. Unless you just keep shooting them in the like.
Just as an aside, one of the things that always drives me nuts about zombie stuff, just in general, like Walking Dead.
Sure.
I mean, not to go on a tangent, but how many zombies do you think every person on The Walking Dead has killed? 100? 200? 150, 50, 20. I mean,
a bunch.
But they just run around like mowing over these people, and it's like if zombies were that easy to kill, there never would be a zombie apocalypse. Like,
you could just build up a task force and take them out.
But that's what I mean. But
it's always they sneak up on you because they're kind of quiet and they mutter. That's how they get you, and in the groups, right?
Yeah,
like volume is what gets them. Like that's most of the time.
But I always like zombie. I always hate zombie movies that are like the fast zombies. I always like slow zombies because I think
zombies,
I could.
Man.
Really, I hate fast zombies.
No,
because I could never survive. We would all die.
So that's the point, though.
So Shane is a slow zombie guy.
Yeah, I'm a slow.
Adam is a fast zombie guy. Myself, I have no preference.
And I like to think that zombies can solve rudimentary problems as well. Like they're not just completely stupid.
What about like, are you with zombie dogs and stuff like that?
We could have animals be zombies. Sure.
Okay, I'm not into that either.
Yeah,
that's sort of weird.
Jumping through the window.
See, okay, I do like that though. I do like the Resident Evil zombie dogs.
Yeah,
they're hard to kill, and they make that terrible noise that sounds like a dog dying. And I'm like, oh.
See, but then I get confused though. So would there be a zombie rabbit? Like, would that be a possible thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Man, that'd be weird.
But that's not scary, right?
Yeah,
the scariest thing about zombie rabbits is how fast they make new zombie rabbits.
True. There's your volume right there.
There's your volume right there.
Can you imagine? That'd
zombie
be a terrible,
rabbits.
That not only would be a terrible death, I would also venture to say if any of you guys died from zombie rabbits, I wouldn't tell your family that's how you died.
That's a really crappy way to go.
Yeah, because also it's like, oh man, it's kind of like he died because a whole bunch of rabbits just
he was a good guy,
took
but
him
totally
over.
taken out by zombie
rabbits.
I'm
going to totally say he was defending the honor of a princess or something. Yeah, not that. But anyway, that'll be our Video Game Book Club pick. Is Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the SNES. Okay, so moving on, guys. I figured we'd do a little out of order. We generally do our emails and comments and reviews or whatever at the end, but we got kind of some pretty good feedback and a good volume after this last episode that we had.
Yeah.
And I think part of it I got to explain my little news story about being a new dad, so that was kind of nice. So we'll knock these out here. Adam, what you got for us?
Sure, we got a few emails. First one is from Joshua, and he said, "Just wanted to say I think you guys are awesome. Thank you for that. Not really sure why, but we'll take it." And I binge listened to your show, and I could see a very good progression, which is absolutely fantastic. He's talking about from the beginning to the most recent episodes. He has a 2-year-old son, and they listen to us back and forth to daycare, and his son really likes the chip tunes. But he also has a video game pick for us, an SNES game called Plok, Plok, which is a platformer / cartoony beat 'em up. So that sounds interesting. This is
I never heard of that.
Yeah, this is one that I've never played. So we'll add it to the list and hopefully get to play that here before too long because that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, and marathoning us. Was this the guy that said he listened to all our episodes in a day?
No, that one's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, guys.
Yeah. So people are gluttons for punishment here, but our second punishee is Greg, and he says new listener says this might have to be a podcast. A little far from it, but we're trying. And he's the one that marathon 9 episodes in one work day.
Kudos to you, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
And he says the nostalgia factor of retro gaming, especially the classic 8-bit music, takes me back to quite possibly the best time to ever be a kid, which is the late 80s and early 90s.
Very true.
And he also congratulates you on your new addition to your family.
Thank you.
And he also gave us a video game pick for Extra Innings for the SNES, which is I never played many sports games as a kid, and you can probably tell that by looking at me. But he said that he was a pitcher, and he enjoyed this game because it lets you have variation with your pitching styles. You could be a sort of a straight pitcher, a sidearm kind of person. Cool. And he used to play this a lot with his friends.
Nice. I played Super Bases Loaded for the SNES. I really like that.
This might be right up there.
Yeah, maybe this is similar, but cool. Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
okay, and then Dan from the Dan and Cody podcast said that we should play the Goonies.
The Goonies.
And so we're going to add that as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Or is it Goonies 2? I can't remember. I think
it's Goonies 2.
Yeah, I think it is actually Goonies 2 for
Goonies
the NES.
2. Yeah.
But
which I always found really weird that it is straight Goonies 2.
Yeah, it's like Goonies 2, and surely there's a Goonies 1 out there somewhere as well.
Yeah,
and the Goonies is one of my favorite movies, just as an aside.
Yeah,
so I'll play it just because I like the. We won't let you in the gate unless you do it.
I was more a Stand By Me guy.
Oh, really?
No, man. It was.
I like my drama like really freaking heavy.
No, it was all about sloth, man.
Yeah.
I used to love sloth.
Yeah, that's sloth, man.
Hey, you guys. Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
But The Goonies is a great movie. I kind of want to watch it again now. And just as an aside, I was at Walmart here a while back, hanging out with the people at Walmart, and they had a 3-disc Blu-ray, right? So it had Gremlins 1, Gremlins 2, and Goonies.
Nice.
$4.
Really?
$4 for a Blu-ray with all that goodness.
That is
actually
crazy.
it was 3 separate discs. So
that's
Blu-ray
even better.
of each movie.
Yeah.
It was one of those Christmas. Christmas had passed, but it was on one of
Sure.
Is it in like one of those tubs where you could just pick up stuff?
Yeah, it was like one of the displays that they had put out for Christmas or whatever, and everyone
those Walmart
else,
tubs are good deals. They're also a breeding ground for infection.
They are. You might get a shanker from digging through it, but yeah, I mean,
I'm all itchy when I jump out of this bin.
Exactly. I felt fine until I touched those Walmart movies.
You can't pass up a good deal. This is America.
Yeah, but I got that thing out. I was so happy about it. I even took a picture of it and immediately posted it to Facebook. Like, this is the best $4 I've ever spent.
That is a sweet deal.
And I was totally right. I went home and watched all 3 movies.
Yeah, Gremlins 2 is interesting.
I like Gremlins 2.
I love all the Gremlins. I like
movies. Gremlins 2 better than Gremlins.
2 is actually a great video game too.
Yeah,
just as an aside, I love that game. But one of the few NES movie tie-in games that's not,
actually good.
Yeah, that's not total poop.
Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe it is poop, and it's just it's good. Yeah, it's actually good.
Except for Friday the 13th.
And then we got an email from Jose, and he says, "Hey guys, love your page." He's talking about our Facebook page. Says he's a 35-year-old dad of 4, grew up playing video games, but he has a new wife that doesn't understand what he's trying to do when he's playing his PS4, and ask what he can do to get a little bit more time.
Oh, okay.
A little bit more Jose time with the PS4.
We've had this question kind of reoccurring, which is obviously a good question. Something everybody.
Question, yeah.
Well, it's
all struggle
everybody
with,
deals with it, and I wish we had a perfect answer for it. So basically, saying like, hey, I I don't have enough time, and well, no, this wasn't I don't have enough time to play. This was a kind of my significant other doesn't quite understand it.
Yeah,
and we totally get that, and we still kind of revert back to our yin and yang, give and take answer, which I think is
I mean, let's just say all of our wives aren't gamers, so they don't play games. They do every once in a while, very blue moon. At least mine does.
And that probably helps us relate to you guys, because that's probably the case for most. I sometimes run into
a couple that
and I've back in your high school days or whatever, you'll have a relationship with a girl, play a video game with you, but you know, it's not necessary. And what's actually good, most people know this, is to have different hobbies. Exactly. Because it helps you appreciate and give the other person time off. So what we're getting at is if it's hard to articulate and maybe they're not being super receptive that it's anything more than like a kid's thing, or why are you playing games, this is for kids, or that kind of thing. It's a different medium now. You can try to show them a game with a really good story. You can there's a lot of lists out there for good games to play with wives. What's the new one on PS4 that actually you're kind of high school teenage girl? Life is Strange. Life is Strange. Yeah. I've heard wonderful things.
Which I actually played through that entire game with my wife.
Well, there you go.
There are those, and just as an aside, the Life is Strange is not a Telltale game, but the Telltale games, like I'm playing through Batman right now.
Telltales are great.
But The Wolf Among Us, the Walking Dead game series, all of those are
almost games. Ones that if your wife's there and watching,
and those are very, because they're not. They're not NES Mega Man or something that requires twitch reflexes.
Yeah, like it's story-driven
games, and anybody can play them. And if you enjoy movies of a particular genre, you will enjoy those games that correspond to those movies and things as well. Yeah. You can't not enjoy those games, as far as I'm concerned.
Those are great picks, and also like Lego games, I'm always a fan of, because the dying thing. Because generally, let's say if they're don't like video games, they're probably not good at them either.
Yeah,
and the Lego games are great, obviously for kids, dad to play with your kid, but great because they're easy to pick up and play. And wife, you can play that too, and play. You could do 3-player, can't you, on those things?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times 3-player,
3 or 4-player. But I'm one where actually that doesn't even, my wife's just not super interested. And I think I've said before, the one game she ever remembers playing was Wolfenstein. And when I figured it out, I just, oh my gosh, it's so great. So I went on PSN, bought Wolfenstein. And Wolfenstein on the PS4, when you're playing on a 60-inch screen, holy crap. And the problem is, okay, moving in a 3D space is difficult when you've never done it with a controller. And what my wife would do, because she played it on the computer, right?
Yeah.
What she would do is, like, she'd go forward, and if she'd run into a wall, in Wolfenstein, if you're kind of at an angle with the wall, you keep going.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like instant nausea.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with her and even me. Like, she started to play it, and she remembered it, and she was going through the door, but because her movement wasn't super smooth, and it was an old game, which didn't help things, like, she got sick, and I got sick even watching it, and we haven't played since.
Yeah.
So, but she realizes I appreciate it, and I give her time for her stuff. She has her shows. She likes the what is it called? Vampire Diaries.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That one's so bad, guys. It's so Vampire Diaries.
So
I make a point to not say anything, and I can't do it. The dialogue, the story, everybody's killing each other. There's no continuity. That's the other thing. Yes. There's no continuity with these things. Sorry, Vampire Diaries, not good. I was so happy because it's finally over with.
It's over with finally.
It's done. But you know what? That is her. That is that same feeling. But that same feeling I feel towards her vampire is
that's what she feels
me trying to say, hey, play this game with me. It's like, it's your thing. I appreciate it's your thing. You do that. You give me time for that.
Yeah.
I can do something else.
It's a nice trade off. So let her do her thing, and then you do your thing.
And if it's like not even a multimedia thing, if it's going out shopping, having a day with a girl, say, okay, when you do this, my day I'll do that, or I'll hang out with a buddy of mine and play. That'll be my time in. Because honestly, the older we get, spending less money being at home, being around the kids, or just honestly, let's say some of our listeners don't have kids yet, or thinking about it, or whatever, or maybe the kids have left home. We've got some older listeners that we've heard too. It's like, it's really just fun to kind of discover there's so many great games out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, there really are. And you can pick something from any genre.
Yeah.
Something for
then
everybody.
also, there's also worse alternatives than a grown man playing a video game. We could be out the bars drinking and doing doing stuff like that. So it's not a horrible. it's just, she has her thing. Let her do her thing, and then just sort of explain to her, hey, I have the video games. You go do your shopping, or you do your, watch your Vampire Diaries or type of thing.
Yeah, and that you're listening to this
open dialogue for that.
Yeah, and I've got some feedback. I guess I could get to soon on the next. Like, we got a feedback kind of saying it's helping like legitimize. We're three guys. This is not what we do for a living. We don't play, but we have our families.
Yep.
We hold all that together. We have our jobs, our day jobs, our side jobs, and we're pretty normal. So maybe give us as an example to your wife.
Yeah,
like it's not just you that's weird, right? How about that? Like she doesn't have to think that. And other guys, they could be into hunting, like you said.
There's
hobbies.
hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, golfing. I mean, people in Kansas City are just crazy on golf. I mean, there's guys golfing 6 days a week, and I don't understand how they do it.
I don't get the golf.
There's so much time involved in that.
No,
like
I putt. That's what I say when someone asks me to golf. I say, "Are we going to putt?"
I say, "Let's go to Top Golf and go to the driving range," and that's it. Like I'm not trying to spend 4 hours out. Or I mean, besides actually just letting her do her thing, and you really want to appreciate something she does, try to watch a show with her. I will suggest this. There's a recent show that came out that is totally a chick show. I freaking like it. What?
Have you guys ever heard? And even this title, I didn't like it. I saw promos for it. I didn't like it. It's this show. It's got 2 seasons out. It's on like Netflix right now. It's called My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
No, I haven't seen that. No.
I've seen it, on Netflix, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it was one of those wifey started watching. I'm like, great, one of these shows where it's just like I don't get it's tailored towards whatever. It's super funny, written amazingly well. The actress who she's young, she kind of makes herself look older and kind of not attractive or whatever. But when you find out like she's in her 20s. There's some music involved, but it's not like Glee where it's like, oh my gosh, like this is the cheesiest stuff in the world.
Yeah.
Like it's actually funny.
Yeah.
It's realistic. The characters are really good. Like when she was leaving, I wanted to keep watching it. I don't know what was going on, but this is a great show to be like in a great example of like, oh, I'll watch this girl show with you. And it's actually like really good. So my super ex-girlfriend, I don't know, suggest that. And then you can play some.
Just don't bag on. Yeah. I mean, just don't bag on it. I mean, she watches her shows, let her do her thing. I mean, she'll bag on you about if you're video games. So, unless it's a two-way street.
Unless it's Vampire Diaries.
Yeah. Then that's just horrible.
No. All right. You got any more?
No, that's all the emails.
Okay, I've got a couple. Andrew on Twitter reached out. Just wanted to let you guys know that I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The stigma, this is kind of what I was looking at. The stigma of video games, something that only kids need to do, and is being broken on podcasts like yours is a great step towards that. No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
As a father of a 1-year-old, congrats, and still makes time for gaming. He's playing Rocket League, heck yeah. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now the said BOTW, so I'm like, Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is a great game. Everybody's loving that game. I enjoy listening how you guys all accomplish your balancing act of being good fathers and husbands, finding time for your interests as well. Keep it up, and I'll keep listening. Thank you. That was a great little message. Thanks
awesome.
a lot. Yeah. Rocket League's great. Love Rocket League. And then another one message we got from the More Gooder podcast. These are kind of in a Dan and Cody kind of recommended to him, so they reached out. They said, listening to episode 9, great job on the video game reviews. That was the most intense dad story ever. I had goosebumps. Sorry, I'm not trying to drama it up. I was just...
It's a real deal, man.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so he's alluding to first episode, I kind of gave I'm a new dad. My kiddo is 1 month yesterday.
Yeah.
Sebastian's growing, man. He's growing so fast.
Yeah.
And we had a pretty scary birth, and it was debated, kind of talking about it. It's funny, I didn't talk about it on social media. A lot of friends didn't know, but I put it out there on the podcast. And I, not just this, but I had other people kind of wanted to keep it private, like gave their story and really appreciated me saying all that. So I really wasn't expecting that, so I appreciate that. He said also his second kid aspirated on the meconium too. It was horrifying, but now she's a healthy 4-year-old. But he remembers the fear, so you definitely deserve a medal. And I think I said, my wife deserves a medal. I deserve the silver. But I appreciate you saying that. Another one. So our video game dad of the week. Adam, do you want to do your grunt?
Video game dad of the week.
Something I came up with.
I like it.
Yeah, our video game dad of the week that we mentioned an episode or two ago, which was Bithead 1000 on YouTube. We just love this guy. I realized that after I said he's a video game dad of the week, and maybe he did too when he messaged. We didn't really say what makes him a good dad. Just we loved his content. We wanted to talk about him. But he wrote back and said, I really like the part where he called me tall, athletic, and blonde. That was awesome. I kept playing that part over and over for my wife. That's hilarious. Thank you so much for an amazing talk up. You guys have inspired me to work harder. And I'm not going to make excuses, but it is hard to squeeze out new shows with this Tasmanian Devil. I think he's got approximately like a 2 or 3 year old boy running around.
Like
and if it's anything like him, man, of course it's terrorizing. Diapers spinning around the house, and I will find out soon. Being a father, at least a decent one, is all about sacrifice. You give yourself away. It's rewarding. He gave a story about, you come home, your kid just spills stuff everywhere. You've got milk on the ground. He's screaming. But then, you come home from work and he's running at you and saying, Dad, and it's all worth it. And it's a big challenge. And I noticed that too when he didn't do a bunch of YouTube videos. It was around the time he said later, oh, it's this reason you see this little kid running around. Yeah. So obviously he took the time to do all that.
And that's the way it should be, man. Yeah. And that's what I appreciate about him is that he's putting his family first before doing any kind of YouTube and stuff like that. That's really awesome, man. And I think that's sort of how we are right now is, we might miss a week or two, here and there. Yeah. And we try to be bi-weekly, but we get to it when we can, and we love doing this. Yeah. And we love our family. But so family comes first.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really awesome. Comes up, we got to give it to them. And we, when we're here, the kiddos have to be watched by our wives, so they know they're sacrificing for that too. So they're giving us that break because we're kind of giving back too on other times. So that was great. Bithead 1000. There's a video I was going to say, all his stuff is really good. Adam is you've sent me a couple stuff. Yeah,
you've been binge watching him.
Yeah, so finally we broke him in. I can't talk up this guy enough until we find another video game dad. He's a great, he's got, now it was 2,800. He's got 3,000, probably not from us. He's got 3,000 subscribers.
Send us all your monies now.
Well, no, his stuff is just so good. Like I said, his stuff isn't clean or whatever, but he just has this awesome persona. This awesome persona and great character. One video, I guess you can look. He has one titled Sega Blast Processing. So if you just Google it. Bithead 1000, all one word, Sega Blast Processing. That's a great little example. It's a long episode. Yeah. It's his pickups. It's his stories in the car, which are great.
Yep.
Just one of the best hidden gems I found on YouTube. Yep. Like if you can only watch, and he's got hundreds of videos, a lot of stuff in there. And he does his own little intros, which Adam took a liking to. And you were sending us links of like...
I think the intros are the best part of the show.
Yeah, that's great.
He basically plugs himself in real rough, but like rough yet awesome. And he basically plugs himself into a retro video game and then puts his own spin on it, like it's Streets of Rage. You like kill somebody, or
Double Dragon punches a chick in the stomach, but then he I think he roundhouse kicked. I can't remember that one.
I saw his Metroid one the other night where he's in the game and he's holding a beer and the Metroid pops the cap off for him and then he shoots it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and also he's got at the end of every episode, everything of his show, he's got the Pee Wee Herman theme song playing, like the ending of Pee Wee Herman as he's like closing it up. It's just like there's so many like perfect little things in there. This guy's like super duper talented. But anyway, go check him out if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Those were all our messages from everybody. We took care of that early, and thanks for the feedback on everything. I enjoy being a father. Thank you. I appreciate the way your community is. It helps me feel comfortable kind of giving those kind of personal stories. And I think that helps us, and we want to hear them back, kind of like what we did. So anything you have, if you want to share it in confidence, you want us to put on the show, just of course say don't put it on the show. But we appreciate that.
And moving on, we wanted to talk real quick about SuperBitCon in Oklahoma City at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds. We're going to be there April 29th and 30th.
Yep.
Both days.
Yeah, we're gonna bring a few things to sell. Be there to, games and things from our collections. Yep. We may have some T-shirts.
Yes, that sort of thing T-shirts. As well. We'll have T-shirts, guys.
Yeah, please come buy some T-shirts so Shane can recoup some of his.
My wife is very ambitious.
Yeah, so. she's ambitious. So come get a T-shirt and
which the T-shirts look good. It's our general logo.
And
it's our general logo, but very nice quality. You could wear around. It's very comfortable
and cheap. We're gonna make it cheap too. Just because who wants to buy expensive T-shirt? Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. We might have a little contest, give a couple away.
Yeah, we'll do some giveaways or something.
First listener that comes up and says, "I know your show," boom, you're getting a T-shirt. Yep. How about that? I'll just say it. Yeah. I didn't agree to you guys, so I might have to pay for that T-shirt. I'm just saying, once you say it on the podcast, it has to come true. First 5. Oh crap, I got to buy 5 T-shirts. Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. But that is going to be. So we don't get too ahead of ourselves. That is a video game convention. For those that have never been to a video game convention, Adam, explain.
So. Video game convention essentially is what it sounds like. There's going to be people show up and talk about video games.
Oh yeah.
Play video games.
Oh yeah.
Buy and sell and trade video games.
Oh yeah.
And so it's going to be fun. There's going to be arcades there. There's going to be some people doing some stuff like some panels and things.
Yeah, there'll be panels and stuff.
And maybe someday we'll get asked to be on one. I'm not sure. But
we'll create our own panel.
Yeah, we'll create our own panel.
So look for us at 2:00 in the alleyway, right behind.
No, actually, we have a really good table set up. We're right on the end, kind of in the middle.
Great,
awesome. Of one of the middle sections. So we have prime real estate.
Sweet. Awesome. We'll wear a T-shirt. Do we have a banner too? I heard.
Yeah, I got a banner being made.
So we're gonna look good at this thing. I think. But everybody should come by and say hi. And also, I'm bringing a fairly substantial amount of games and things. So
I've got some too. I'm gonna bring all I got. But
doubles from my collection and stuff. And so come by and trade with me. I have a lot of pretty good stuff in there.
You do.
Very cool stuff.
If you like PS1 or PS2 RPGs in particular, I've got a fair number of those in there. And
Nintendo 64.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of N64 games and stuff. I'm a collector. I don't really do this to make money or anything, so I legitimately would rather you bring something to trade with me probably than buy something from me. But yeah, if you have some games that you want to wheel and deal on, you might be able to get something from me and make a trade too.
I'm also bringing a little TV, so if you guys want to come by and play a little bit, like I don't know, I might bring an N64 or something like that. I have a little 9-inch security monitor that looks really cool. But I'm gonna bring that so we could play on.
Sure, all right, yeah, we can play some Smash or something.
Yeah, Smash.
But come by, say hi, and be nice, and we'll. We may even have a microphone set up and record some of the folks that are there.
Yeah, and we've heard from a friend of ours, Norm, who does some of these shows that. It's SuperBitCon is actually a really good convention to go to.
Yeah, for buying.
Buying and stuff.
For buying stuff. And it's not one that's talked about as much as, say, like Portland Retro Gaming Expo or some of the others.
Yeah.
But a very good one. We're all going to make the trip down there. We'd be so happy to see anybody. And we're also hopefully going to make some new friends. And we'll have pins and business cards and stuff to give out and just kind of... hopefully just get more people listening to us.
Yeah.
That's
I want to see that Nintendo PlayStation. It's going to be there. I still haven't seen it. You guys
that's cool. Yeah, I've seen it.
That was at Portland.
This will be your first video game convention, right, Adam?
It is. Yeah, I'm right now a video game convention virgin.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm the jerk that was like, Adam, tell us about video game convention.
No, it's cool.
I was thinking that when he said that.
I've heard a lot of stories about video game conventions from people who have been.
Like us. In episode 2.
Who have been rubbing it in. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So we'll be doing that. We'll have our families with us. We're all staying down there the whole weekend, and should be a good time. We'll have kids crawling all over the place, and should be total chaos.
Ben, kid and wife coming, or just
so just not us, because at this point, so my kiddo was a month old. Yes, and at that point it'd be like 2 months old.
Yeah,
you're going back and forth trying to see if it works because she'll still be on maternity leave, but really just like he's still at the point where she's not gonna be able to do much, and the kid can't like play in the pool or anything like that. It'll be really young. So, hey, this is a good example of what we're gonna do. She's graciously saying, yeah, you can go to that video game convention because she knows it's important to the show, and it'd be great to do it. It would kind of be bummy for me not to be able to go, especially since 2 out of the 3 of us, so all of us are going to be able to go. But then the next weekend, she's going to have off, and she's going to probably like have a girls' weekend at a wine thing, and I'll have the kiddo the whole weekend.
Yeah, see, man,
and I instantly was like, fine,
yeah.
So that's how we're going to do it. So like I said, just you get what you give.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best thing about this hobby is just keep it nice, keep it. And something else, not to get too off topic, I think I've said before, we try not to be guys who are super negative and yell into the mic, and some of the gaming community is kind of like that, and they've got a great following. If you're kind of into that, you've got great stuff listening. There's Let's Plays. There's a lot of people like dogging on video games, and some of them are really entertaining. And when I said it's like I don't like them, I was thinking like somebody who's done that and has a great is a great fan base is Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't talking about that because no one's called it out on it, but I was thinking like, oh, Angry Video Game Nerd, he was the one who invented the yelling into a mic about that, but that's his character.
Yeah.
And he's actually super nice in real life.
He's super nice guy.
Yeah.
Really nice guy.
Yeah, Shane has a good story about like he basically had no business giving Shane an autograph, but he didn't even...
He waited in line, like he was 20 minutes past signing, and he signed something for my nephew. I didn't even want the autograph because I watch the show and I love his stuff that he does, but my nephew really watches it. And,
James Rolfe,
James Rolfe, and he signed it, and I'm very appreciative, and my nephew loved it. So
yeah, even the staff was like, these guys weren't in line at the right time.
Yeah, and they were trying to kick me out, and I was like, dude, let me. And he was just like, no, I'm signing that for him.
Yeah, so James
awesome
Rolfe,
guy.
James Rolfe, and he was able to make a movie. He's got a huge community.
We're not trying to dog anybody that's yelling in the mic, but that's just not us.
Yeah, I was just thinking, and there's plenty of that out there. Let's Plays, whatever, and people who are way, we just have a podcast. This is radio, basically. So probably those type of people don't want to listen to it anyway because you can't see anything.
Yeah. All right, Ben. So how's it being like a new dad then?
It's actually going pretty well. We got really lucky. We got a good lottery pick. In the kid, and I'm not going to say we had anything to do with it, but he's been a good kid.
Really?
He's been a good
Sleeping
baby. Sleeping good, and we looked it up. It's really just luck of the draw. 30% of babies evidently are good kids where they just go down. They don't have those issues like the colic and the GERD, and so far, he's only a month old, but so far we've been very fortunate. Like he's sleeping like 5, 6, 7 hours a night. Dude. He's done 7 hours a night, and when he cries, it's only because he's hungry. That dude is hungry sometimes.
Yeah.
Do we need to do some trading? Later? I got some kids to drop off because none of my kids sleep. So
okay.
We're getting like every 2 or 3 hours. Right, my daughter's waking up.
Do you mind it being there? This game, you have to hold his head all the time. He doesn't have any neck control like all of yours. All 3 of yours has neck control, and really. All the diaper changes, you never know what you're going to get.
That's what I was going to ask you. How's the diaper changing going for you?
That's not bad. It helps the fact that he's so small, right?
Yeah.
Well, and the poop doesn't ripen until like I don't know what 6-8 months is when it starts getting really smelly.
They're always smelly. I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
we got to keep in mind sometimes our podcast listeners might be eating. But to answer your question, it's very cliche. I'll say this, but I just love him so much.
Yeah,
I love him so much. Whatever he does. And again, he's been a good baby, so it's not hard to be frustrated. I do totally understand the sleep deprivation. We had that at first when we were figuring things out.
Yeah.
Our tactic that I want to pass on was an idea given to us that just seems super logical is the whole trading off nights.
Yeah.
Has worked for us great. Idea. Because if you're both up being sleep deprived compared to one person and just one person got the kid the whole night, the other person sleeps.
Idea.
One person will only be sleep deprived. One person is more likely to be moody as opposed to 2. And you get to be caught up the next night.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Or that's what we did.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. And then, with working too, it's now that I'm back to work, Laura gets like most of the week and then I get the weekends. So my weekends are fun filled, just watching the kiddo. But, I miss him during the day, so I don't get to see him. She sends me pictures and stuff, and I come home and see him, and it's just wonderful. I was showing you guys pictures, so he had a full head of hair. It is now
hilarious.
Oh man, it's now falling out in the most comical way. Like full
He's
head.
got that LBJ, man. That LeBron James where it's just fading back.
Oh, God.
It might be Lyndon B. Johnson.
Oh my gosh, a widow's peak.
Yeah.
The
So
husband was
cute.
killed twice. It's a double widow's peak. I don't. Where do they get that from? By the way, what's
don't
the
know.
saying? Widow's peak.
I don't know where
Okay.
I have no idea.
Well, anyway, this widow's peak is like so strong. It basically starts from the beginning all the way down to his ears or something. He's
Yeah.
just losing his hair in a funny way, which is normal.
It looks
and
like a
it
little
comes
bald
back.
dude.
Yeah, or
So
kind of
cute.
like middle-aged banker or something
Yeah.
like that. But he's great. He's sleeping well. Eats a ton, like I said, growing really well. Not super fussy. He doesn't. He doesn't really do anything and interact. That's why I
Yeah.
went to your house, Shane. You've got a 1-year-old, Lucille.
Yep, Lucille.
Yeah,
a
Lucille is
1-year-old.
cool because she is observant. When I looked in, she looked at me in the eye.
Yeah.
Followed me around the room with her eyes. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is cool. So I instantly picked her up.
Yeah.
And, good. So that was kind of nice having feedback.
Yeah, seeing
'Cause-
what you're going to be
yeah,
coming up to here pretty, somewhat soon.
Yeah, because currently my child, all they tell you is the training you have to take of him constantly trying to kill himself and all the things that
Yeah,
could hurt
could
your
go
kid.
bad, yeah.
So that's you're just constantly okay, you put him in the crib with nothing else. You make sure his neck is going to be misshapen, his head's going to be misshapen if you don't give him
Yeah.
the tummy time. Which
is,
most of the dads will know what tummy time is, and it's important. You want to,
It is.
but it is just constantly there's a lot of feeding, tons of diaper changes, but it is indescribable, like what everybody says and what everybody tells you, and all that cliche stuff. I wish I could come up with something better. The only other thing I might add is I don't know if you guys found this. I don't want to get too deep, but having a kid and looking in a kid's eyes, your own kid's eyes, you really kind of feel the own mortality of yourself.
Yeah.
I honestly that's the biggest change probably in my whole self
right?
world outlook.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Now
yeah.
it's this weird sort of thing that sort of happens, and I don't really know how to explain it, but it's sort of you don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Or
Yeah.
or you start to understand generational
Yeah.
relationships between people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't want to say
Yeah.
meaning of life and getting too
Yeah.
weird, but honestly, that is a great meaning to the life of
Yeah.
this kid, he's going to put me in the dirt someday. It's just bizarre to think about right now. This kid, I'm going to try to make sure he's as successful as what he does.
Yeah.
And does what he wants to do, influencing him enough to be a good person. Everything else, I probably shouldn't put to, it's just, you're constantly thinking about the future, and you're also thinking about your own twilight already. It's just, and then
It's
knowing
crazy,
your legacy is going to live on actually with your kids, not with anybody else. None of us are going to be president. I think teachers are the ones that, they get paid less, but their legacy lasts on a lot. Cause, I can ask you, Shane, your first grade teacher, do you know the name? Watch it.
Oh, Miss. No.
You're proving me wrong. Shane.
Miss
No, I know.
Davis was
Sorry,
mine.
sorry. I
Yeah.
could think of a lot of. I could think of my favorite teacher, my sixth
Sure.
grade teacher, Miss Rickley. I could think of
Yeah.
Miss Weeders, Miss Askew, Miss. I mean, I could rap off a ton if I could just think for a second. I
yeah. So
and
no,
I have a
know.
horrible memory.
No. I'm just,
that's crazy.
I'm giving you crap, but basically, what I was getting at when you prove though too is you remember these people and their legacy of a teacher lives on. But to be honest, it's kind of sad, but most people, including us, probably our legacy isn't going to be something probably prolific,
Yeah.
But it will be with the kid,
Yeah.
and then with the next generation, the next. It's sorry, I'm getting. Hopefully, we didn't lose any listeners. No, but
No, I like it. No, that's truth,
That's
man.
kind of the change that I look at. I look at him and I see myself.
Yeah.
I see my wife. I see all the things I'm thinking about that I want to prep him for. And then I also see my next step.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be, and then his kids coming over and him liking me, and then at a period not liking me and getting frustrated.
Yeah.
You kind of can see.
I've been thinking about just my child, the fun times he's gonna have with friends coming over and they're playing just playing outside, playing basketball and stuff like that. It's just I'm so excited for them to have those good memories.
Well, that's the
and
thing.
stuff.
Yeah,
It's
because our kids are about the same age.
Yeah.
So about 3.5, and it's weird because up to this point they've kind of been. You have to do everything for them, right? But they're starting to. They're starting to kind of do things on their own, and he's got his own personality.
Yep.
He's got his own likes and dislikes. He has you can sort of kind of see him already, at 3.5 becoming his own person.
Yeah, that's really cool to see, and it's going to be cool for you to see that, Ben.
Yeah, and it's really
when
bizarre.
They get a little bit older like that.
You can kind of see it start to accelerate right now, because up to this point it's all been like, do this, don't do that, come here and let me, clean you up, all those. Just the whole taking care
teaching
of
them right and wrong.
Yeah. But now a lot of it is just like, he's sort of got his own ambitions, and
even being that young, it's crazy.
They totally do, and it's really weird to see them starting to differentiate themselves a little bit.
Yeah,
that'll continue to accelerate, I'm sure.
Oh, of course.
But
how's your kid been then, Adam? So our kids do soccer together because we have kids around the same age. Ben's he has the newborn.
So I've got a newborn.
He's got a newborn. Shane, I have 3 kids: 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old. So about to be 3.
Yeah. And a new appreciation for Shane I have grown just doing that. Like, it's like, dude, you just crap by yourself.
That's no joke, man. Yeah. Every time I'm like, Shane's super dad. I feel like
There's a reason Shane always has a beer cracked when we're doing our podcast. For good reason.
But no, I was going to say that our kids do soccer together, and it's just funny to see them play and interact with other children also. It's just to see what's going on with that. Like Grayson the other day, his son, they got into it with another kid.
Apparently there was a tiny cutest beatdown ever.
Yeah.
Whoa. Some kid pushed my kid at soccer or something.
Yeah. Oh, and you weren't there to see it?
No, this was right before I got there, because I always have to come over there straight from work because it starts at 5. So I always miss the first 20 or 30 minutes of it. But my wife, she's like, our kid just beat the crap out of some other kid. And I was like, oh, in front of her, that's bad. And then I high-fived him.
Oh, no.
No, not really.
No.
Oh, man.
See, I've been missing soccer.
Apparently the other kid initiated the interaction, however. So
that's funny. That was a similar, I don't have a personal story, but a good buddy of mine, Justin, I think he listens to the show, really good friends with him. He has a kid about the same age, maybe 4, and he actually has practiced, and this is a tiny, maybe he's 4, like 3, maybe 3. He's practiced boxing with him. So you probably haven't done that. Like he did it on his own, right?
No.
Yeah. So he's actually practiced like just doing jabs and stuff, not being violent, not starting a fight, but just actually as a kind of a bonding moment for his son. Yeah. So he hears from his teacher that his kid got into a car accident with another kid, and basically they had those what are those plastic things, the bubble cars,
the big cars,
the Flintstones cars that powered by their feet,
the Fisher Price. Yeah.
So they both had a Fisher Price car, and the teacher was far enough away; she saw it happening. They both hit each other head on and got out of their respective vehicles.
One of them calls the police
and started. They both got out there pretty calm.
Information.
She said it was basically like it was surreal. That's why the teacher kind of let it happen, because while she was watching it, even though she knew maybe this wouldn't end well, she just wanted to see it out, I guess, when she told him that while he was telling it to my buddy, the parent. Yeah, and so gets out of the car, and this kid's a little older than Justin's kid, and they get out of the car, and just like they're about to talk, and the other kid hits my buddy's kid.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't knock him down, but then his kid leans back and throws like a real punch and knocks him down. And he wasn't in trouble because he didn't initiate it.
Yeah.
But he put down a kid like a year or 2 older than him.
Oh, boy.
In like an actual and he just defended himself.
Yeah.
And the teacher was first to say like, hey, listen, he's not in any trouble. The other kid got in trouble because he initiated. He was just defending himself.
So, yeah.
And that's all he was. He didn't start it. They just got out. But I just wish there was a video camera. That would have been freaking hilarious.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
the road rage, a little case of
a
little baby road rage.
Well, especially this kid evidently had quite a good hook, for being a 3-year-old. You weren't expecting it. And that's a good way. I bet you that won't ever happen again. By that 5-year-old picking on a 3-year-old.
Yep.
That's crazy. Anyway.
The kids are mean.
Yeah. But anyway. So that's our dad stuff. Sure. What about, hey, what are you playing? Are you guys have any time to play any video games? I have a little bit of a story, believe it or not, with a 1-month-old. I did get to play a little.
I've been playing a little bit.
Yeah,
too.
Shane, what have you been playing?
Actually, my nephews and nieces came over the other night, and one of my nieces actually really liked Bomberman 93 on the Turbo Graphics. Wow. Yeah. Whoa. She just loved it. And we ended up
school.
Yeah, kicking it old school. And we went downstairs and played for about 2 hours playing Bomberman. She got pretty good towards the end. She won a few rounds and stuff.
Yeah, the old Turbo Graphics Bomberman games, those are good games.
Yeah, fun games. So I got a Nintendo Switch, and me and my wife also played Snipper Clips for a little bit.
Great.
Yeah, and it was really fun. I think sort of underrated game.
Yeah, my wife and I actually have been playing that too a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good. I mean, it has 2 to 4 player. It's a multiplayer game. You have to have someone else.
Yeah,
to play
multiplayer kind of quasi puzzle game. I heard about when people said the name. I just thought the name was great, like Snipper Clips.
Yeah.
But when I actually saw some gameplay video of it sounds like if you have a Switch, you need this game.
Yeah, it is
good, and it's not expensive either.
Yeah,
so.
it's $20. $20, I think.
And sucks it's not physical, but it's digital game.
Yeah, it's digital game only. But it's a lot of fun, and it's got a ton of personality. It's really approachable, easy to play.
Easy to play. Great for those little controllers too. I mean, because those things aren't the most comfortable thing in the world, but they work well with that though. I mean, it's because you really don't have to do too much.
Yeah, like Jose was saying, like you can get almost anyone to play that game.
And try that out with your wife. If you got a Switch, try that one, man.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm in the same boat. We played through almost the entire game in one night.
Oh, nice. We didn't get that far. We started arguing a little bit on it.
Well, it does take a lot of cooperation and also people saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this, you do that." Kind of stuff.
It does. Absolutely.
It's a team building exercise.
Cool. Well, they got all those big, like, what's the thing now? Like getting out of a
escape room
stuff.
Yeah.
So this is cheaper for sure.
Way cheaper. Yeah. Breath of the Wild, I've been playing it. Awesome game. Cool. And I just love that when my daughter falls asleep, I can play for about 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Then when she wakes up, I just turn it off real quick and
that's been the bulk of my game playing has been Breath of the Wild too.
So what have you been playing then, Adam? That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, well, Breath of the Wild's been the main one, and I need to start playing the actual story at some point.
Yeah,
like right now,
doing a lot of side quests.
Yeah, I've just been running around.
I've heard you don't. I've heard like you should just do what you want to do with.
Well, that's kind of it.
That's the fun thing. About
dungeons and
stuff.
Well,
I started going down like the main story quest, and it gets really hard really fast. It's actually very hard. I mean, for a Nintendo game, it's a very hard game. But it's kind of that way to make you be like, yeah, maybe you should go, think about making yourself a better person and then come back.
I'm glad they're starting to do that again, though.
Yeah,
because the Wii U was a little too kiddie.
So I got to some of that stuff and I thought, you know what? There's a lot of the things that I've sort of just run by and not really looked at. And so, like, literally for the last 2 weeks, I've just been running around the countryside, killing stuff, catching animals, picking things up.
It's crazy, like some of the monsters that just pop up in that thing, too. Yeah. That is so cool to me.
And there's these shrines, which are kind of like little mini temples that you do. And so I play it like an hour or so every night. And sometimes I accomplish something, sometimes I don't. But I have a pretty good time either way. It's kind of relaxing.
So you're warming up to it because initially you kind of said, this isn't really my game.
Well, yes, I guess. I'm not a big open world game kind of guy.
Yeah.
And when I initially found out that Breath of the Wild was open world, I was kind of, I don't really know I want an open world Zelda. I think I kind of like... I kind of like, monkey do, and then I go do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the kind of gamer I am in general. But I'm enjoying it. I really like it. I do take frequent breaks from it. And so on Switch, I've been playing that. Snipper Clips, which I already mentioned. There's a Blaster Master game.
Ooh, man, I played that. Sorry, I forgot about that.
That I've been playing.
So good.
And it's pretty good. It's kind of, it fixes a lot of the things in the old Blaster Master on NES, makes it more approachable. It's arguably too easy, but it's fun.
Can we take a moment to appreciate the name of that game?
Blaster Master.
That's a great freaking name of the game.
Blaster Master's the little guy, or actually the big guy. And Road Warrior. Is it Road Warrior or Beyond Thunderdome? Mad Max.
Yeah.
Blaster Master.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, it was a game that I've just discovered when I was older or whatever, but like, it's a great name for a video game,
Yeah.
There's like Asteroids, there's some classics.
Yeah.
Blaster Master.
Right.
So I've been playing Blaster Master. I re-downloaded World of Goo, which I played through many years ago, and I love that game. So I'm looking forward to playing through it again. But haven't quite started on it yet. And then I also got The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I've heard it's like
Afterbirth Plus.
What kind of game is this? Can you describe it, Adam?
Well, I've only put a couple of hours on it. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler.
Is this the one on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
this one's on the Switch.
So it's kind of a cross between a dungeon crawler and
like an old
a
school
multi-directional shooter kind of thing. I think Smash TV or
I love Smash TV.
Robotron. If you want to go really old school, but you have a character that runs around and you can shoot in sort of 8 different directions.
Yeah,
and but the aesthetic of it is really weird and kind of creepy. And
yeah,
I mean it's cartoony. It's
a lot of people like this game.
It's a very dark. It's a very dark game.
Is it?
It's Tim Burton-y.
Oh, okay.
But dark Tim Burton.
Huh.
But it's kind of from that same thing. World of Goo is kind of Tim Burton-ish now that I think about it too. But that's my Switch stuff on PS4. I've played up to the end. I think I have one or two more chapters of Uncharted 4, and then I'll have beaten it.
Oh, cool. So you are taking your time with that.
Yeah. So I every few days I play a chapter.
Cool.
On it.
And cool. I love that game.
And it's really good. And have not been disappointed. I mean, there's just jaw-dropping points like in almost every chapter.
Yeah. See, you guys have been talking about Uncharted, so I recommended it to a buddy, so he's supposed to try it out. So
cool. Yeah. And you have a PS4.
I have a PS4. I haven't. I just can't dive into it right now.
Yeah, sure.
I need some quick hitters. I need something.
Yeah, and I started on the Telltale Batman game the other night. Been playing it, and so far it's really good too.
Cool.
But I think that's everything I've been doing for the most part.
Yeah, I've heard good things. Myself, I've been playing New Dad. There were on the nights that I have him when I just don't really fall asleep. I did have 2 good sessions of the game I talked up the last episode, Horizon Zero Dawn. And that is a game exclusive for the PS4. It is an open world adventure game that's got a lot to it. It's also came out the same time as Zelda Breath of the Wild. It came out on my birthday and my son's birthday, which was the same day. And I previously only played like 2 hours of it. I got another 10 hours in. It's only gotten better.
Really?
It looks super good.
The protagonist is a kind of female huntress that has been shunned out of her village. This is a post-apocalyptic future. Yeah. I've kind of told people to watch trailers of it. Most people know have heard of it, but it is done so well, and it's done by Guerrilla Games, the guys who did Killzone. Never done a game like this before. You don't really know what's going on. The only thing you know is civilization as you know it is gone, and now growing over it is the new tribal civilization, and you're fighting these kind of animal robots. And since I've played it last, I was kind of getting good at it, and the way you fight these guys is very much like a chess game. You can use this special ability where you can see where to hit them.
Oh, so like certain hit points and stuff.
Yeah, certain hit points, but like the enemies are so varied and so different that you can aim for, let's say, the gas tank that'll make them stop breathing fire or shooting fireballs at you. But you can also just go for their like reserve tank or something to knock off their shielding to make them not hit you with a melee hit. Yep. I was getting pretty good at it because they weren't changing robots. All of a sudden, I go into what is essentially a dungeon. I don't want to give out any spoilers. I don't think this is a spoiler. There's obviously more than meets the eye with this because humanity lived for another few hundred years and then all of a sudden it went away. So there's a lot of old tech that's in ruin. Yeah. And I went into a cave, which I did one before. It's kind of like a secret cave. And it was took like 20 minutes to get through. It was late at night. I was about to go to bed. I was like, okay, I'll go into this cave one more time. And it was like... It was like an hour and a half later. I had no idea because this thing, you never knew. It was off the beaten path right in the corner, and I go down in there, and now it's a completely different game.
Oh, wow.
I'm basically what feels like inside the Independence Day ship.
Oh, really?
That's I don't no spoil. You knew something's going on. I can't really even describe what happens. You're kind of in a ruin, but... If you guys remember Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Earth. I'm going to punch an alien exoskeleton in the face and knock it out and not break my hand. Welcome to Earth. I hope people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway. Yeah, that scene is so stupid. Great movie.
Almost as stupid as whatever Dennis Quaid's brother flying a plane up into the belly of the spaceship.
You're gonna take us. Hey boys, I'm back. Oh man, yeah. Box 3, Missile 2. And then the president's flying one of those planes. You remember that?
Yeah, the Prez. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Trump flying.
Yeah.
Trump flying around in a plane.
Yeah.
That's good.
Bill Pullman giving that speech. Our Independence Day. Anyway, sorry. So I'm down in this cave. I thought it'd be, and it's so like multi-layered. You figure it out. It's kind of like a puzzle. I just, anyway, it took like an hour and I kept like going through it. And at the end of it was kind of a boss, a new robot that I haven't seen yet. Was really, and I won't give away what kind of animal it was like, but it was like a hard fight. Mm-hmm. I spent 15 minutes trying to beat this thing, and I finally beat it. I get to this next area, completely different setting, more desert, and I find out the average thing I have to kill that's through there was basically that boss before.
Oh, really?
And then I shut it off because I was like, oh, I can't handle this. But anyway, I barely scratched the surface of this game. As far as the map, I've unlocked maybe 20% of it.
How many hours are you in?
From what I can tell, 10 hours.
10 hours.
You can go through beating the story. There's also a tree that you can unlock. Help me out, guys. Like abilities and a cheap ability tree.
Yeah,
Is that kind of what it's called?
Yeah.
You power up, and then you can spend it on different
weapons.
Yeah, weapons, power-ups, abilities.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. So like when you're hiding in the tall grass, you can have this ability, which is the best thing you can get, is a whistle.
Uh-huh.
And I went online to see like what should I spend my things on.
Skill tree.
A skill tree. Thank you. So one of them was like a whistle, and that one's great because you could whistle for anything, have it come over to you, and you can kind of quick kill it or whatever. But that game is great. After like, I kind of already thought I knew what that game has, and it just keeps having more layers and layers. Yeah. Highly recommend that game. You guys should play it. Awesome. Yeah. So that's all I've had.
I'll definitely play it at some point.
Yeah. So that's all I've had time for. But I figure 8 hours.
Yeah.
When I have a month old from
that's
him being
pretty good, man.
I've had 8 hours of playing the game.
Air high five. Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, but that's a really fun game. So that's all I've been playing. You guys have Adam. I'm looking at something you should talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk about that one.
I can actually credit Shane with this to some extent because Shane, because he's a good friend and doesn't have anything better to do with 3 kids.
Let's just say that. Yeah.
He got his Wii U kiosk, and I've been threatening his life because of that for some time now.
I've been scared for my life.
For new listeners, Shane has somehow found this bank of kiosks.
Yeah, I got kiosks.
Adam,
for a little bit.
Our other video game dad, is trying to go for a complete Wii U collection because, as one listener put out, he's a glutton for punishment. What did he say?
He said it's like taking your sister to the prom.
Nice.
Is what he said. And I have a rebuttal for that. The Wii U has a good library. I mean, in general, there are poop games on it, like on every system, but they're by and large, it's only 160 games, but about 120 of them are pretty solid games.
Hey, man, and like what you like. And if you've been around the block like us, you really try to find something that other people aren't collecting. Like, if you want to collect, don't collect 64 right now because people are going bonkers over that for whatever reason.
Everybody's fire selling their Wii U right now, which is great.
Yeah. Wii U, original Wii. But anyway, so that's kind of us. We have a lot of games between the three of us. We should actually add up how many games we have. At some point, we'll do it next time.
I don't even think such a thing is possible right now because I don't have everything cataloged.
I can't count that high.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm wearing shoes.
Yeah, but we have, we obviously love the NES, Super NES, but sometimes we like obscure stuff. And the Wii U is kind of an obscure thing to like. But you have what you've wanted, which is your kiosk.
Yeah. So Shane got a kiosk, which wasn't fair because he's not going for a complete Wii U collection. But so Shane located one from a guy here in town and made a deal with him, and now I've got a kiosk too.
Yeah, for a very good price.
Yeah, and so I'm really happy. It's got a great screen on it. I put a regular system on it so I can play games, and I bring my kid down here. We play on it, and he watches some of his cartoons and things on Amazon on it as well. But it's super cool and it looks awesome. It's got these cool LED blue lights that kind of glow around it and so forth. But
look on our Facebook. It's basically, we probably won't repost it because Shane posted it.
It's just like mine.
Yeah, if you want to see what it looks like, look on our facebook.com/videogamedads. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I got that. So that was my second biggest pickup, or maybe biggest pickup. I'm not sure.
I'll go with second biggest.
The last couple of weeks have been very good to me. So weekend before last, I guess this was. My wife and I don't go to the flea market very often because I just get depressed, and because I walk around and it's usually like the same 30, sun faded, rain
dried,
just full of dirt. And
I see that every weekend. I hit the swap meet every weekend.
Yeah, I know. There's this one guy there in particular who's got like this little clutch of like Super Nintendo games that look like they were eaten by an elephant and pooped out.
Yeah.
And then dried in the sun for a month.
And he still wants $10 a piece for everything.
And they're all sports titles. So usually I go and that's about all I see. And then I go, well, that kind of sucked. But we didn't really have anything to do. And so I said, hey, let's go over to the flea. And my wife, God bless her, said sure. And so we walked around a little bit and I actually did pick up a couple of little games. Kind of what you sort of has aisles, so you wander through it. And as we're getting to the end, this is like, I don't know, 11 in the morning or something, which is really late for somebody to be getting there to show or to sell something. But at the back end, where the open slots are still open, this van pulls up and they start pulling out all these PS3 games, and these are all like heavy hitter, top tier
RPGs,
for the most part, Japanese RPG,
and like not just the game, you're set boxes.
Yeah. And
collector sets.
Yeah, so they pull out like 20 or 30 of these, and I asked them how much, and they shot me a really good price, and I said I'll take all of them. So I ended up buying all of those PS3 games, and
because they were basically selling them for like VHS or DVD prices.
Yeah,
like it was crazy.
Really good prices.
And these are I was looking at them. I'm not a JRPGs, there's a lot of fans out there, and like Tales of Exila, you have, these are just huge. This is a gold mine.
Yeah. And so I got all of those and a boxed Wii U and I don't know, some PSP games, and there's a couple of PS Vita games in there and some other stuff. And so I said, I'll just buy all this. If you're going to sell it to me that cheap, then I'll just take all of it. And I'll sort out the details later. And so I made that deal, and she goes, wow, if you really like games, we have like 4 times this many back at the house or something, or 3 times this many back at the house. And I said, oh, really?
Yeah. Man, money talks, man. They see cash.
So I said, well, here's my phone number. If you really have that stuff, like, give me a call and I'll come by your house later. And so later on that afternoon, I'm sitting home and bloop, bloop, bloop. I get 2 or 3 text messages of pictures of, there's a huge stack of PSP games.
That never happens to me. I give people my phone number all the time, and nobody ever hits me back.
There's 60 of them, and again, they're all. I mean, PSP is kind of a cheap system to collect for, but these are all like upper tier, highly sought after PSP games.
All your stuff, like some of the titles, like in the PS2 ones, like list some of them off.
Oh, well, okay, and then also there was another, I don't know, 50 or 60 PS2 games.
Yeah, but they were all, and these are like 7.
All the dot hack games pretty much are in there, minus a couple of them. Suikoden 2, Suikoden 3, Suikoden 4, Suikoden 5.
Yeah.
We're all in there. Tales of Destiny 2 for PS1. And I didn't go into PS1, but Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like all of the Final Fantasies.
I wish we had video right now and you see my face. I was at the swap meet earlier that day. I just had to cut in with that.
Yeah, Shane was at the same swap meet earlier that day. And then also got a handful of Game Boy games and a Super Nintendo with Lufia, which is another RPG.
Yeah.
Long story short, I ended up getting a really good deal on a lot of really good games,
and they were happy to get rid of it.
Well, they were happy to unload it. It was a very mutually beneficial arrangement.
One guy taking it all, easy peasy.
Yeah, and because it's nice when you don't have to run around town. But the other cool thing was that in addition to all of these games that were all there, there's also a player's guide for almost every single one of the games. So I got like 4 moving boxes full of player guides, and I'm a sucker for player guides. I love them.
I am too. I like them a lot.
So I bought another shelf and made a shelf of. So I've got my Nintendo Powers, and then I have another shelf full of collector guides, which is about as many and as much as all of the Nintendo Powers. So yeah, it was a good deal. Very good Saturday for me. I was really, really happy. Yeah, and then I went to Garage Sale today and actually got a box of Atari. Nice. The VCS. It's a later model Atari because it has the Warner Brothers logo on the front of the box. I don't think that happened until like 83 or 84. But
of course, 83 or 84.
But at any rate, got that. I got a boxed Mighty Final Fight the other day, which is a really that's a really heavy hitter NES game. And I got a boxed Bible Adventures.
What's your NES count up to?
I think 585. Yeah, now
getting there, creeping. You might as well just go for it.
Yeah, that last.
Let us peer pressure you into doing something we wouldn't do.
I would never do.
That's right. Let's mortgage the house and do the NES collection. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a really good week. I already had Bible Adventures, but this one has the box, and I actually really like the Bible Adventure games. Are like some of my favorite games from back in the day.
I still haven't played it yet. I still need to play it now. I need to play it, man.
The coolest thing
does it have Noah's Ark on there? Does this the one that has?
Yeah,
Noah's
this
Ark?
one's got Noah's Ark in it. I think Bible Adventure is the one that has multiple. It's like 3 or 4 games on a single cart kind of thing, but one of them is Noah's Ark. The cool thing about Bible Adventures is they're made by this company called Wisdom Tree, and Wisdom Tree. So they made all these Bible games, right? Like, here this game will save your soul, and then the other games that Wisdom Tree made were Chiller and Death Race, and so Chiller is like arguably the most controversial game released prior to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of funny that they were making like Noah's Ark the game.
Yeah.
And then also making Chiller.
Yeah. No.
I wonder which order they did it in. Think about it, because I bet you
I think Chiller came later.
Yeah, that would have to be.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and double check that, but I think the Bible game started it, and then they changed from Wisdom Tree to something else, and made all those other games. But I think it's really funny, the same company.
Yeah.
Cool. I've only picked up. You have any others?
No, that's it. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I just picked up a couple. The PS3 and PS4 are region free, and there's some exclusives that are in other regions that nowadays with the internet you can get for super cheap. So I've been picking up a couple imported PS3 games because it's cheap, and now's the time to do it. And it's just like there's so many interesting games that came out abroad.
Yeah, you're getting those for super cheap. I mean, like
and I got one actually. It's funny. I probably bought the rarest game I own by far, and might be one of the rarest in all our collection. Not necessarily the most valuable yet. There was a game that came out for the PlayStation 3. There's one. The rarest game for the PlayStation 3 is NBA Elite 11.
Yeah, and they only made how many? I mean,
it shouldn't have even been released because they pulled it. It's a really interesting story that the game was produced, made, finalized, copied, shipped, really, and a couple days before release, EA pulled it.
It was a licensing thing, right?
It wasn't a licensing thing. It was a broken game thing, from what I understand. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And the demos came out, and there was just bugs galore. And it came to the point where they were just like, we can't put this product out there. They were going to revise it, but then they never ended up doing it.
Yeah.
So what happened was you have a game that is completed and finished, and there's the T pose or Jesus pose video is the famous video of the demo, because the demo came out on PSN, and when you would play it, Andrew Bynum randomly would all of a sudden be in the middle of the floor with a T pose. And I listened to another podcast why this would happen. And it wasn't like a player model. Like he would get stuck like this while everybody's playing a game. Sorry, like this. I have my hands out.
Yeah.
Basically, like looking like a robot, and like you can't throw the ball to him. You can't do anything.
So
and it was like a huge glitch. Turns out that the EA also did like another snowboarding game, and that would happen as well in that snowboarding game, and they could not figure out if it was like a coder actually like sabotaging the game, did on purpose, but it was an anomaly that they couldn't fix. So what they would do was tell the PlayStation or whatever system it was on when that would happen, it would cause a crash. It would be an instant crash. So at least they found out, well, if this ever happens to a player where a snowboarder all of a sudden puts his hands out, it would crash the game. Well, that same bug somehow got into that NBA game, but it wouldn't crash it. So what happened was these were all destroyed, instantly pulled back. Some of the GameStops that had them, some of the employees, as employees do, they somehow leaked out. So originally there was only 12 copies out in the wild, and this game is I would only buy it if I won the lottery. It's like $2,000-$3,000, $4,000. Some people are asking like for a sealed copy, 11. There's supposedly we're only 12 out, but there's
been more leaking out.
Oh yeah, and there'll be more found.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's right now we're still at about 30 copies. Hard to find. If you eBay NBA Elite PS3, you're gonna have like a single disc copy going for a couple $1,000, complete copy for. So that's the rarest PS3 game is what I'm getting at. The second rarest is one that people really kind of don't know, and it wouldn't jump out. It's a game called Gran Turismo HD or GTHD. It is a Japanese game. It was only put out. It's basically kind of a demo like Gran Turismo Prologue, but it's not that game. This was before Gran Turismo Prologue, before Gran Turismo came out on the PS3. Everybody kind of wanted to see what a PS3 Gran Turismo would look like. In some Japanese trade shows, they had this game. And even on forums, you go to collecting forums, you go... people trying to talk about what are the rarest PlayStation games, 2, 3. No one talks about this, but you can find a small subset that knows about it because there's only a couple hundred, and they were given out for free in some trade shows. But it was a box game. They had a demo out that is now defunct, so you can't even download it anymore. A lot like PT for the PlayStation 3, which is a demo that had licensing issues or whatever, and then you can't download anymore, and it's obscure. What's neat about this game is it rips the game off the disc like a PS4. Cool. So once you have the disc, you could essentially like give it to all your friends. Like I could actually give the disc to you guys, and you would essentially own the game because it's an install disc. But it is complete. It has the artwork, the paper. It's just called GTHD. It's its own game. It's not a very deep game. I ended up I lied. I did play that, so I played 2 games. And it is just kind of like a lot like Gran Turismo Prologue, but it is very rare. There's only a couple hundred copies, and I was able to snag one really, really cheap. And it's going to be one of those. As soon as someone on YouTube or Metal Jesus talk about it, it's going to shoot up. And but right now, there's not really many sales that you can compare it to. Someone just had it on eBay. Way under market, and it was on there about 10 minutes, and I randomly was on eBay at the same time, and I just grabbed it. So, but yeah, GTHD, that's a game, if you ever find it, you wouldn't know what you're looking at, but 10 years from now, that's going to...
Maybe you talking about right now, just raise that price
maybe
right
pay
up.
for a vacation. I'll probably not, but it's... we have a good amount of knowledge between the three of us, and that is something I never heard about, and even still, many people don't talk about.
No.
There's, Aquanaut's Holiday, that's a rare one. Raw 1, which is an Indian exclusive game, but this is one that many people haven't heard of, and luckily I was on a collectors group that talked about it, and I knew what to look for. But anyway, that's now my new rarest game that no one really knows about, but cool. So hopefully we could spread the knowledge about that. So GTHD,
that's even more rare than my rarest game, probably. I think.
Yeah, but
which is Spider-Man: Web of Fire
for the
Sega 32X.
32X,
the mighty 32X. Nobody knows exactly how many of those were made. It was. They say the print run was somewhere around 1,000, but I have a complete in box, even with the inserts.
Oh, nice.
We did have a question come in. We were going to talk about this.
Hold a second. I picked up something here. You guys want to hate on my amiibos? I did get something.
Yeah. We actually put this on Facebook.
So I got a few pickups also. I got the amiibo kiosk or amiibo display. So when you go in the store, you could actually click on the amiibos and see what they do and stuff.
Yeah, so this is the thing.
And the Targets and have them and stuff.
The in-store demo display.
Yeah,
which has a little screen. Yep.
I was able to pick one of those up complete with the amiibos in there and everything. And I'm amiibo crazy, and I have every amiibo, so I had to get this.
Yeah, Shane's our amiibo guy.
Yeah.
If you like amiibos, write in to Shane, and I'm sure he'll write you a book back and instantly be your best friend.
Yeah. There's probably only 10 of us out there that really like amiibos.
There's more than 10 of you.
On our Facebook, to be honest, on our Facebook and Twitter, his display that he has is pretty impressive, and I put a couple pics on if you want to see it. But he's got it right in the middle around everything.
It's like, well, kids, you could go to college.
But Daddy's spending on amiibos.
It is a great display. It's gloriously obsessive and equally scary that a grown man owns all. No, I'm just kidding.
Those toys,
No, I can't talk. I like the old Disney Infinity. We're all, we're all big kids here. Yeah.
But I also picked up 2 heavy hitters on Super Nintendo. Usually I don't spend this kind of money on games, but they were at a good price. I got Pocky and Rocky.
Whoa.
Yeah, really good game. I didn't say that, but I got a chance to play it for about 10 or 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Wow, really good.
Yeah, Pocky
and Rocky looks awesome.
It's so fun. We got to play it when you guys come over. It's so fun.
And you reminded me, I got that for Game Boy Advance. I totally forgot. That was a random thing. Local vintage stock, or it's called something else in other states, right?
I have no idea.
Okay. No, I think it's vintage stock.
Okay. But they will send you a game that they have, and they'll check all the inventory of all their stores, and that's a game that's super hard to find, and they had a super good price, and they took a coupon over the phone, and they sent it to, I'm like, this never happens.
I had this 90% coupon.
Yeah. It was great.
I'm going to call in tomorrow and see if my 90% coupon will work.
Well, shout out to him. I was able to get that game, so I got it for the Game Boy Advance. So, nice. It's a great game.
Oh, and I got Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo.
Cool. That's right. You can grow your little crops.
Yeah, grow little crops.
I've never been into those games,
Farmville,
but there's a lot of people that dig it. Also, we're going to talk, a lot of ladies like that game.
Yeah, no. So I was able to pick that up.
Yeah, it's like what was that crappy Facebook game that everybody
Farmville.
Yeah. It's like Farmville before Farmville.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wait, and they don't have timer. Well,
it's
actually,
cooler than Farmville.
It is cooler than Farmville.
It's cooler than Farmville. Oh boy.
Yeah, Farmville sucks.
Take the Farmville hate.
Sorry, all Farmville fans out there.
Yeah, I never played it. Phone games are phone games. They serve a purpose on the toilet, waiting for a plane to arrive or whatever. Being on a plane yourself, dwindling your battery. That's what else they're good at.
Well,
cool.
What do we got for any kind of big news or anything? Pop up, guys?
I don't know much. We probably got to wrap up this episode. We're getting kind of long, but okay. I do know GameStop has been closing some stores. Is that surprising to anybody?
No. It's all the digital stuff.
Yeah. Yep, all the digital stuff. So, they're loading up Funko. You can buy more Funko Pops, I'm sure, or whatever that GameStop is selling right now.
They're grasping for everything that they can sell.
It was a big news story, but when I actually looked at it, it's only 2.5% of their stores.
Yeah, so, it's a drop in the hat, but it's what's going to happen in the future.
And it's worldwide that they're closing. There are some GameStops abroad and that kind of thing.
They have 7,000 stores. Man.
Yeah, so they're dropping like a couple
155.
Something
well,
like
and sometimes, even like here, sometimes you, what's the old saying? You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a GameStop.
I never heard that.
You just made that up. So.
No, perhaps.
I'm too. my brain is thinking about that too much.
No,
I'm thinking,
I heard
wouldn't it slip out of your hand?
An old farmer I knew once used to say that they're building those Walmarts everywhere. Yeah. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Walmart. So I assume that it's actually a saying. But GameStops are kind of the same thing because they're, just within a couple of miles of here, there's, 3 or 4 of them. So.
Yeah, there's just too many of them. And they can't compete with Amazon the way their shipping is and stuff like that.
Oh, especially on the Prime
and Best
stuff.
Buy, yeah. They have a real issue with the competing with even people that do what they do. Amazon's trumping them, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, Amazon's cheaper and they're faster.
Yeah.
I ordered a retro game from GameStop, and they charged me $7 to ship it, and it took 5 days
to get there.
5 days to get there.
And the tax. Sorry, I just blanked. You did talk about the tax.
To tax?
Amazon tax. You hear about that?
No.
Oh, that they're going to start charging sales tax?
So, not only they were charging by state, Missouri just got kicked in.
Missouri had no tax before.
Missouri had no tax because we had an Amazon warehouse in our state, which somehow bypassed that.
Yep.
It turns out soon, like April 1st, nationwide tax.
Really?
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
So, well, and also all those, in my state, I had to start. So now everybody has to feel my pain. It was kind of, I would go on forums like years ago, and there was only like 3 or 4 states that would have to pay taxes. And you were like, oh, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
But now they're doing, but even still
they're going to get those revenues somewhere. And if everything's shifting to the internet, they'll tax it.
And honestly, it's a lot of government push because Amazon is creating like a monopoly. It was kind of like, this isn't fair. And that was the big thing. It was less Amazon. It was more just other outside entities pressuring to make then a more even playing field, which is true. So then it evens out with, like, say, Best Buy charges tax. It kind of does the same thing for a certain subset.
Evens them.
Yeah. So, but they still have that great discount on new games if you're a Prime member. 20% off, which is typically $48 with no tax before. Now it's going to be about 51 and change, 52.
But that's still.
That's still good.
Still $60 plus tax if you buy it at a brick and mortar.
Paying $60 for a new game is not what you kind of should do if you Amazon Prime's worth it.
I don't know what GameStop's doing, but I've noticed that they're going to change their rewards program. I don't know what that means because they used to give out so if you buy stuff from them, you get so many rewards points, and then you could get stuff from their online. Like a lot of it was junk, or you could get coupons, which I used it for to get games and stuff.
Yeah.
But now they're switching it, and I don't know what they're doing with that. Maybe they're going to switch it to none of that crap and go, hey, free shipping over $20 or something like that. So I don't know. They're trying maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Adam got that extra game in for free.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, you got an extra. They messed up. So, I mean, there's...
Donkey Kong, yeah. I ordered I didn't get in early enough on the retro game thing because they were selling some pretty good games for decent prices.
Yeah.
But I ordered Donkey Kong 3 for the NES, which I didn't have, and I got an extra one. They sent me to.
And this is maybe why they're folding up because I mean they have issues with sending out extra games or wrong games.
There were 2 Donkey Kong 3s in there. So did I give you one of them, Shane? Or?
No, I already have it.
Okay.
We talked about that.
Yeah. We had something we were going to talk about. We'll save probably for the next episode. We've had 1 or 2 people, I think, mention something that we do since we collect games, categorize them, keep them clean, how to spot how to do the storage of your games, how to also kind of like take care of them in a good way. As far as like alternatives for if you get broken cases, what is like a deal breaker for some systems, what's not, because we touch and handle systems all the time. We do have a little wealth of knowledge and resources we can share as far as how to collect, what we do when we put them in our collection, that kind of thing, like cleaning and that kind of stuff. Even with everything you have, every kind of collection of like vinyls to dolls, you have to do some preservation to these things. And that was something we kind of take for granted because we kind of got our own system. But if you're starting out collecting, we'd love to hear. We've actually had a couple people write into us saying that we're inspiring them to get their systems out, buying some extra games. I know cool. Dan and Cody from the Dan and Cody podcast, or Dan from the Dan and Cody podcast has said like, I've got a little man cave going. You guys inspire. I'm picking up some games.
That's cool, man.
He's messaged me before. Is this a good deal on this game? That kind of thing. So yeah, we'd love to interact with you guys, help you guys out as much as possible. But of course, like anything, to keep you in good favor with your family, spend within your means. Make sure you budget for it. And always a good word of advice is pick up something you're going to want to play.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a big collector. Start getting into games that you find interesting, or
don't go buy the $500 game and it's a poo-poo game.
Yeah, we've seen that before. We've seen that like when we went to a convention.
Yeah, I see that not infrequently. As people will start on the high end and not the low end, and it's like, dude, just
start low end and see what you like.
Don't buy Web of Fire as your first game. It's an expensive game. It's rare and it's poop.
Yeah,
I appreciate it for what it is and that it's rare and that it is something worth preserving. But at the same time, like,
if you're getting into it, you might not have a way to offload it.
Yeah, don't have that be the how you're getting your feet wet. Yeah. Buy the common games that are cheap fun and that are fun to play.
Yeah, and then you'll kind of learn too when you see a game. Like, you should never put something on your credit card you can't pay for. But like, let's say you do see something that's worth, now that you've gotten this kind of knowledge or whatever, that this game is actually worth $500. and I see it here for 100. And hey, if you want to just grab it because you have an opportunity, sell it, and then get some more games, we're not opposed to that. There's difference between like resellers or people trying to rip people off. But yeah, if you kind of find maybe just a system you really like, or just collect the old games you used to play, that's usually the better way to go. And we're, of course, there's so many different resources you can use, and we can be one of them too. We appreciate that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us, and if we don't know, we hopefully can push you in the right way. I know we've had questions about Dreamcast compatibility if you buy one overseas or whatever, and we'll try to figure that out and let you know. So we'll probably talk about that next time, just kind of like collecting strategies and also cleaning strategies and things like that. And how to test a game or test a system without actually being able to plug it in. What you should percentage spend on something when you don't know if it works or not. So you're not out there, the Sega Genesis is $30. There's no way, instantly Shane will tell you. So we'll maybe cover that the next time. So guys, we'll call this one a show.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Thanks guys so much. We appreciate all the feedback. Write us in for any suggestions for the Video Game Book Club, comments, thoughts, corrections, whatever. We really appreciate it, guys. We appreciate our listeners. Thank you so much. We've passed a couple milestones in listeners, which we appreciate. We just doing this for fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Shane, what is our Facebook?
Facebook.com/videogamedads.
And Mr. Adam, our email.
VideoGameDads@yahoo.com.
And you can find us on Twitter @VideoGameDads. Make sure to see us if you can find us on SuperBitCon. See if you can. We'll be plugging that, and then get a shirt. Shane's wife got enough for the state of Rhode Island. So no, just kidding. But thanks so much. This wraps up episode 10. We're in the double digits, guys. So
trucking along.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Episode 10 is in the books.
All right.
Bye.
If you enjoyed that music, please check out Evan King on Bandcamp for further details, and you can download some for yourself. Thank you.
Bye-bye.